Right, so you got your TinyPi all built. So all you're going to need to do now is give it some power. Now you can always give it a bit of a power bank, some USB, plug that in and run it from there, but it's not really as portable as it could be for such a tiny device. So if you've bought the full kit, then you'll have all these parts. If not, you might have to source them yourself. Basically, I'll get the case out of the way. That could be another video. So what you can really do is power the TinyPi from whatever battery you want. But if you want to keep it inside the case, then you're going to need a small battery, because the case is designed to house that little battery nice and neatly. So anything bigger than that, then you're going to need to rethink the case. Now this is a 300 mAh battery. Should give you about an hour's worth of playtime. And the code on there is 402530, which that means it's 4mm thick, 25mm wide, and 30mm long. So that pretty much standardises the measurement. You can, like I say, you can use a bigger battery, use a smaller battery, but if you go bigger, you need to watch out for the case. Coupled with that, I have this baby. This is a TP4056 charge and protect board. So that little chip there is the TP4056, and you can get these for crazy cheap prices, especially if you buy a big batch of them. One thing you need to be careful of: these things are designed to charge at 1 amp, which is 1000 milliamps. Now that battery is only 300 milliamps, so we need to be a little bit careful, because if we charge that battery at 1000 milliamps, we could let fire out. Now we don't want to do that. But thankfully, this little bad boy here has a way of adjusting. Not an easy way of adjusting, but it still can be adjusted. And just on the bottom here, you'll see R3, which is basically what tells the chip how fast to charge. So if you buy one of these yourself, you're going to need to change that R3 resistor from the 1K2 ohm resistor that it currently is to a 4K7, and that changes the charge rate to about 250-300 milliamps, which is spot on for this battery. So now the warning's out of the way, let's get doing some soldering. Now I've got some wire that I include in the kit. This is 24 gauge silicone wire, so it's nice and flexible. It is actually way too thick for its needs if you look at what's already on the battery, but it actually does stick out of the case on the side slightly, so I thought I'd go for a little bit of a thicker, bit more strength, so you're less likely to damage it. So get the old wire strippers and strip the ends of our wire. So 24. Extreme close up there. Now I always like to twist the ends. Strip it a little bit. Get a nice little twist. Keeps all the wires together. Same on that. So, wires are ready. Let's give them a little quick tip with a soldering iron. This is where a third hand tool would be good. I normally end up making them a little bit long, tinning them with solder, and then trimming them to the length I need. That way you get nice, neat little ends without having to worry too much about keeping all your wires together. Okay, so they're tinned and ready to go. First thing we shall try is let's connect the battery to the board just so we can charge it, check it's okay, because we don't want to attach the battery last and find there's something wrong somewhere. So if I use my high-tech third hand, solder on here. And with my shaky hands, same on this one. It's not quite in there, so right, so now the battery is attached. Let's quickly double check before we go any further. Positive's the red, negative's the black. Let's attach some power. See what happens. Right, we got orangey red light, that shows it's charging. When it's fully charged, you get a blue light. And there are a few extra codes on this board. If the blue light's on all the time and the orange light's flickering, then that means it can't find the battery. And if they're flashing like mad, then something really wrong. But it should be orange light to charge, blue light when it's full. So that's looking okay. Let's attach some more wires. So in the output box, negative on there, so we'll thread that in there and solder it in. And there's positive there, if I can get in the hole. And we'll solder this in. Now you will see these are a little bit too long, but that's okay, we can get the flush cutters out in a second and sort that. To make sure the cable's all the way in. We don't want any exposed cable at the top. Okay, so that's that soldered. From here on in, you need to be a little bit careful. These two ends are technically attached to the battery. The beauty of using this board, you can get the two versions of this board. One has 2 holes at this end, and the other one's like this with the 4 holes at this end. Now this board actually has protection, so that if you were to get these 2 wires and just go together, it would actually kick in and disconnect the battery, protect it from damage. I'm not going to demonstrate that, but I'm sure it does work. This battery also has protection. You see a little tiny circuit board in here, so it's got double protection, so we're extra especially safe. But still, I'd recommend try and make sure these don't touch. So now we've got that sorted, we need to attach it to the TinyPi. If we flip the screen back down, you'll spot here there's two gold pads, battery negative, battery positive, and it's basically simply a case of attaching these cables to those pads. Now I'd recommend you don't go that way, because the case actually sits along this strip here. So if we attach the cables from the other side, but if we try to make sure that we leave a little bit of space on this pad, just to make sure there's space for the case. So I'm going to trim these cables down a little bit, because that's the length of that pad, so we want to just maybe halve that. The same with that one. Always double, triple, quadruple check that you've got it the right way around. So the negatives at the top, positives at the bottom. Be careful of the ribbon and the screen. We don't want to go melting any of your hard work. If we just pop a bit of solder on these pads, gives us something to solder to. So try and keep a bit of that edge spare. So got the negative terminal there. We attach that. And then the positive terminal. Now the idea is that these cables actually swing around like that and then poke out of the case. And the case has a little cut out just the right size, just there, for the cables to come out. And you can always just tweak those wires a little bit just to make it a nicer path. So the screen goes back down and it should be all powered up. Now sometimes with these protection boards, if there's no battery attached altogether, the protection kicks in and therefore you'll flip that power switch and nothing will happen. So it's always worth just connecting the charger just for a second, and that basically resets the protection circuit and reattaches the battery to the output. So once you've all soldered, you can switch on your TinyPi, get ready to start playing.